little corner of the internet. If you're new here, which you probably are because, well, this is actually the very first video on my channel where I'm finally sitting down. I know you can see me, but I am. And talking dearly to you. I have to be completely honest with you guys. I'm so nervous right now. But I wanted to create a space that feels like a safe haven, a quiet, cozy room where we can just take a deep breath together. And talking about things that matter. You see, I'm not a psychologist, and I don't have a degree in therapy, and I'm not an expert, but I am someone who loves these kind of topics. And I'm deeply fascinated by how our minds work, by human psychology, and by how we navigate these crazy, overwhelming things we call life. Over the past few months, I have been researching a lot of my own, reading articles, listening to talks, looking at studies, just trying to understand myself and the world a bit better. And I realize, why keep all of this to myself? So I wanted to share it with you. I want to contribute something gentle, something helpful to your day or night. I don't know when you are listening to this video. So I wanted to start this new section on my channel, a place where we combine mental wellness, self-discovery, and the serene, relaxing vibes of ASMR to just wind down, because I know how heavy the work can feel, especially when you're a teenager or in your 20s or early 30s. We are all just trying to figure it out in this world. So please let me know in the comments if you like this kind of content. Tell me it help you to relax, if you relate to it, or what we should talk about next time. Your feedback means everything to me, especially since I'm stepping off of my comfort zone today. So, today, I want to talk about a concept I found recently that completely blew my mind. It's about how we look at our problems during these formative years and something called tricky thoughts. Tricky thoughts. Like dive in very softly. So, how you ever feel like you're looking at the problem in your lives, but no matter how hard you try to fix it, it doesn't go away. So it's like looking at an iceberg. You only see the tip above the water, but under it, this massive structure that you're completely missing. When we are navigating our teens and our 20s, we face so much pressure, high school, college, starting a career, finding out who we are, maybe dating, friendship, social media. It's a lot. And often, when we seek help or when we look out our own struggles, we get stuck on the surface behavior. I was watching a beautiful presentation recently by a specialist named Mar Garcia, and she talked about how she grouped the most common struggles young people face into what she calls the triple A. anxiety, addiction, and assertiveness. But here's the catch, and this is what I researched further. What we think the problem is usually isn't the real root. The emotion and the surface behavior is just a symptom and something much deeper, something rooting in our emotion and our need for connection. Let's break this down together one by one. I want you to close your eyes if you want to, or just listen to the sound of my voice and see if any of this resonates with your own story. The first A, it stands for anxiety. So, anxiety is something almost everyone in our generation knows all too well. It's that tightness in your chest, the soothing sweat on your palms, a feeling that the room is spinning or that you simply cannot breathe. In the reception story I found, there was a case of 16 years old girl named Begonia. She went to therapy, sat down, and just started crying because she felt completely defeated. She felt like she didn't fit in anywhere. She didn't like how she looked physically. She thought she had no real friends, but the heaviest thing she carried was guilt. One night she invited some classmates over to her house. Her friends insisted on opening some alcohol bottles belonging to her parents. She didn't want to. She didn't want to disobey her parent and she didn't even want to drink. But the fear, the overwhelming fear of being left out or being judged or being the uncool one took over. And her hands started sweating. Her hair reached. She couldn't breathe. So she said yes. And things go out of hands. Now, you may look at that and say, oh, Begonia has an anxiety issue. But let's look deeper. What was behind anxiety? It wasn't just a random chemical glitch in her brain. It was a profound, aging need to fit in. Think about it. How many times have you said yes to something you hated just because they didn't want to be isolated? How many times have you anxiety speaking because you felt like you weren't matching the standard of the people around you? According to the UNICEF report, a massive portent of young people in Europe and around the world suffering from anxiety and depression. We are talking about millions of teenagers and young adults. And at the core of so much of this anxiety is simple the fear of rejection. We just want to belong. We just want to know that we are accepted just how we are. So now, we're gonna go with the second A, is addiction. Now, we hear the word addiction, we often think of suspense. But for our generation, for people aged 15 to 30, the most common solid addiction is right in the palm of our hands, our screens, our phones, the social media, TikTok, Instagram. There was a story of a 15 years old boy named Pablo. He was spending an average of 7.5 hours every single day on his phone. He would stay up until the early hours of the morning scrolling through TikTok, playing games, texting. He told his counselor, I know I need to rest. I know I need to sleep, but I can't leave it. It's stronger than me. I don't want to be the only one who is disconnected and doesn't know what everyone else is talking about. It can be that bad if everyone else is doing it. Do you relate to Pablo? Because I certainly do sometimes. You know, you should asleep. You should know your brains need to break, but your thumb just keeps scrolling. On the surface, it looks like a tech addiction, but if we go beneath the waterline of the iceberg, what it's really, it's a struggle with auto-control and self-management. And honestly, we cannot blame ourselves entirely. Auto-control is a virtue that needs to be trained. It's a muscle. But our environment makes it so hard. These apps are designed to hook our brains. And why do we crave them? Because we're looking for recognition. We want the likes, the views, the replies, because they make us feel valued and seen. We care so deeply about what others think of us, and the phone becomes a dynamic mirror of our social media status. It's not just about the screen, it's about our fear of missing out and our desire to be relevant to our peers. The third A is assertiveness, or rather, the lack of it. Assertiveness is our ability to defend our own right, our own desires, or our own boundaries, while still respecting others. It's being able to say no without feeling like a terrible person. It's being able to say, this is what I want, even if it doesn't please everyone. This is a story of stealing, and her entire family was pushing her to go to medical school. They kept saying, you're going to be a doctor, it's a tradition, it's the best path. But she didn't want to study medicine. She wanted to do something completely different, but she was terrified of disappointing her parents. She couldn't bring herself to tell them the truth, and the software is absolutely silent. So if you look at her, you may say she just needs to learn to be more assertive. She needs to just speak up. But what is truly happening underneath? The root is affectivity, our deep emotional ties, and our need to be and to feel love. Affectivity makes us incredible vulnerable. The desire to be loved, cherished, and accepted by our parents, our partners, or our friends can make us make decisions that completely destroy our own happiness. So many teenagers and young adults choose career they hate, stay in toxic relationships, or hide their true identity because they are terrified that if they speak their truth, they will be rejected. People will get angry or they will end up completely alone. So, what do Biconia, Pablo, and Maria in the last story have in common? What do we have in common when we go through these things? It is how incredible harsh we are with ourselves. We have an internal dialogue that is brutal. We tell ourselves things like, with this body, it's impossible for anyone to ever love me. If I don't drink tonight, they are going to laugh at me and I won't fit in. If I don't stay in line, I'd be forgotten. What if I ended up completely alone? These, my friends, are what Mark Garcia calls tricky thoughts. They are toxic, deceptive thoughts that we tell ourselves. They aren't true, but because we believe them, they completely distort our reality and cause us an immense amount of unnecessary suffering. thinks about it. We think with words. The words we use inside our own head shape our emotions, and our emotion dictate how we act. For example, right now, as I'm making this video or this audio, if I lay tricky thoughts like overlight, oh my god, they are absolutely faking this audio, this video. I sound ridiculous. They think my voice is weird, or they don't get a matter about the subject. If I believe that, I will become tense, uncomfortable, and awkward, and it will ruin this video. But if I change that thought, to a kind one, I'm doing this to create a safe space, and hopefully someone out there is feeling comfortable right now. Then I feel inspired, happy, and relaxed. We do this to ourselves all day long. We talk to ourselves in a way we will never allow anyone else to talk to us. We are our own worst bullies. And if we don't catch these tricky thoughts early, they chip away at our self-esteem, our self-concept, and they can eventually lead to real mental health struggles like severe anxiety or depression. The good news, the beautiful thing that I found on my research, is that we can train the brain to spot these thick thoughts and rewire them. You need to be in a severe crisis to start doing this. You can start today, right now. How do you know you are covering a thick thought? They almost always start with something red flag word. Listen carefully. Word nights, always, never, should, I have to, what if. For example, I should always please my friends. I have to be perfect at my job or at school. What if nobody ever likes me? What if I fail and fail forever? Whenever you catch yourself using these absolute harsh words, your brain is playing a trick on you. It's a trap. So how do we fix it? We reformulate them with kindness and usefulness. Thoughts could be realistic or unrealistic, useful or useless. Let's say you didn't study enough for an exam, or you mess it up a project at work. A toxic, useless thought will be, I'm an idiot, I'm going to ruin my whole life, and I will fail. That is unrealistic and completely useless. Instead, we can rewire it into a useful reality. Okay, I didn't organize my time well this week. It happens next time. I need to start a few days earlier, and I can handle this. See the difference? It's a silence, but it's kind. It's giving you space to grow. It treats you like a human being, not a machine. When the character in the stories did this, their life changed. Because you found a different group of friends who accept her own without condition, and she felt happier. Pablo learned to manage his phone time, got his sleep back, and his emotional balance returned. Maria finally had the hard conversation with her parents, told them her true passion, and she ended up studying what she actually loved. To wrap this up, being young, being a teenager, being into 20s or 30s is a beautiful, chaotic, passionate journey. There is no life without conflict, and there shouldn't be. It's how we grow. It's how we question the world and find out who we truly are. But we cannot be kind to ourselves if we don't feel the war of love. And you are warrior of love, exactly as you are right now. With all your flaws, your mistakes, and your unfinished chapters. Margosia closed her talk with something beautiful. We talk about the AAA anxiety addiction and assertiveness, but she said we need to focus on a different letter, the letter O, for opportunity. We have the opportunity to change our internal dialogue. We have the opportunity to free ourselves from our own harsh judgment. When we speak to ourselves with kindness, we become truly free. And when we are free, nobody can manipulate us. So thank you so much for staying with me until the end of that very fierce video with my own voice. I really hope this broke a little bit of space, realization, maybe a new perspective to your night or your day. Please remember to leave a comment down below. Tell me what you thought. Do you like this mix of ASMR and personal growth topics? Should I keep doing them? I will be reading every single one of your comments, and hopefully my net will be completely gone by then. So don't forget to subscribe if you want to join our little cozy community. Take a deep breath. Let go of those tricky thoughts tonight, and you're doing just fine. Good night and sleep tight. Bye bye.